All right, hello everybody, and welcome to our what is it, July? Goodness, July Small but Mighty Business of the Month. We're joined by two of my favorite folks from what was JSA Architects and is now going to be rebranded as JSA Design. So I have that correct?
That's right.
All right, so we have North Sturvant, who is, what is your title there? I know you're.
I'm the CEO.
There you go. I knew you ran the show, but everyone's got different titles. And we have Ann Weidman, who is their PR, marketing, and business development person, right?
Business development, but I call it community engagement as well.
Community engagement. And you guys are engaged in the community in a lot of different ways. So first, North, why don't you just give me the overview of what JSA Design is and just sort of the nuts and bolts of what you guys do.
Sure. Well, thanks, Ben, and thanks for recognizing us. We don't really go about this with that as an objective, but it's always great to be recognized. JSA has been around for 40 years now, and probably about 3 years ago, we started looking at what it was that we did and why was it that we did it. It's not just a matter of sort of coming to work, punching a card, and working on a billable project. We really value the depth of the work that we do and our commitment to more than just architecture. We are a multi-discipline, design-focused enterprise, and that extends anywhere from community and city planning through traditional architecture design and interior design. Hence the name change or the rebrand. It's really more about what we are now. The other thing we became really focused on as a firm is making sure that we recognized our longstanding work in the community and reinforced how important that is to us as a business to be giving back. We started a program about 3 years ago where we have a day of service that is provided to each employee to use as they see fit in service to the community. That day is paid for by JSA. So that's shown up at Crossroads House in preparing and serving meals. It's showed up at Habitat for Humanity. It's shown up in the streets of Portsmouth with the work that Ann has done and others in our firm with the dining streets and dining program as part of the design collaborative, and then the work that I've been working on with others in the firm at the Bridge Street pop-up, which I will confess has taken more than one day of my time, but we are doing it pro bono, and I'm in it with both feet up to my nose and sort of keeping ahead of the flood.
And really what you guys have been helping, particularly on that Bridge Street project with the design work and helping lay out that space to be effective and safe and an efficient space for what they're trying to do there, right?
Yeah, and actually the term efficient is that's sort of old school. In the new reality we're dealing with, it's actually designed for social distancing. So it's in the traditional sense, it's inefficient, but it's safe. And it's the balance between spreading out and creating a sense of engagement and vitality and community is part of the trick. I think it's going to be quite successful as it plays out.
Great. Well, we're really excited about that space and hope to use it for maybe a chamber event or something throughout the summer.
That'd be fun.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
So, and what else lately? I know, Ann, you've been involved in a lot of things. What else has JSA been working on, and you in particular?
Well, I ended up sort of overnight became the spokesman for the Portsmouth Design Professionals Alliance, which honestly it was an overnight thing that happened. Bob White, a local landscape architect, sent out a bat call to about 50 design professionals and said, downtown needs help. And I think about 25 of the 50 responded in a very active kind of way, and we spent 5 days brainstorming and redesigned the whole downtown, unsolicited by the city, but we handed it over to the Citizens Task Force, and that document is what gave them the confidence that we could move forward and start into the outdoor dining. That was 5 weeks ago. Today, we're still involved with it. I kind of put on the Access Navigators hat, which is JSA's nonprofit that helps people impacted by disabilities find their way around our cities and towns in New England. So now we're going down into those outdoor dining corrals and taking a new look and finding the little nuances of nudging and changing those spaces to make sure that every space is accessible for people impacted by disabilities. So that's been kind of a nice little 1-2 punch with that. But, you know, at the same time, we have a lot of shovels in the ground in the Portsmouth area, and we have had shovels in the ground for 40 years in Portsmouth on projects that people aren't even terribly aware of. The current stuff north were.
So I was just going to say that, you know, I love downtown Portsmouth right now. Like the vibrancy of all the outdoor dining and, you know, spaces that were always kind of cute, like Von Mall as an example, you know, it was always a nice space, but it just feels so much more alive with tables and people out there and you know, just it's very, very vibrant. And I really appreciate all the work that, you know, you guys did in brainstorming a lot of that and coming up with these concepts and then a lot of credit goes to the restaurateurs for making them attractive spaces. You know, it's easy to, you know, throw up some Jersey barriers and a couple folding tables or something, but to make the spaces, you know, colorful with plantings and lights and all that sort of stuff, they've really done a fantastic job with all that. So it's
what's kind of cool is, as you sort of point out, it's an evolving organic event, and I think as pride is built in what's happening down there, there is that vitality, and there's life in a very hard time, and that I think for some people is really important. It's certainly critical for the businesses that are trying to survive, that are you know, in a community that relies on tourism and the arts, and restaurants as part of that, and obviously retail, that to have a sign that there's a pulse, and it's a strong pulse, and it's just you know, throbbing in a different way, I think is really, really cool, and sort of a testament to how the entire community has embraced what we're doing.
Yeah.
And when I say we, I'm talking about Portsmouth, not
right. Yep. So I don't think people often give a lot of thought to the role architects play in the community and the designers play in the community. So, you know, you walk around Portsmouth, and I think you guys, as you walk around, you probably see your fingerprint on a lot of buildings and a lot of spaces in town. And I don't know if people ever appreciate that. So give me a little bit of a preview or a summary of some of the things that you guys have influenced and worked on around the community.
Well, just in Portsmouth, Mark Wentworth Home was a great renovation and addition, probably North, that's maybe 10 years ago.
I'm afraid to say it's longer ago than that. It might be 15. Yeah.
All right. It was a nice project. We ongoing are kind of on tap at Strawberry Bank doing work for them. We've done work at Pease, at 100 Arboretum, Portsmouth Regional Hospital. We have touched almost every department at Portsmouth Reg. The Foy building downtown, that's a really old project of ours that's still hanging in there. A big one that I think everyone loves is Community Campus. And honestly, before I came to JSA, I didn't know that was a JSA project. The campus is a little more than 20 years old right now. It's aged beautifully, and we keep our fingers in that building, kind of monitoring the building needs and doing assessments to keep that building looking good. Cary Cottage, which had tons of press this year. We're the architect on that renovation, which is happening right now. back out at Pease, Northeast Regional Hospital, the brain injury and spine injury.
Rehab. Northeast Rehab.
Northeast
Yeah.
Rehab. And then the really current ones that are so visible are 3 Pleasant Street, right in Market Square. If you take a look at that, you need to right now look up because they're putting the copper roof on. It's really gorgeous. And then behind that is 60 Penn Hallow, which is literally shovels in the ground. There's excavators. It doesn't look like a building yet. It just looks like a construction site, but it's going to be rising out of the ground this fall. So there's a lot happening in Portsmouth, and I feel like we've had impact really on every neighborhood in town.
And honestly, there are also a number of and I'm just as proud of these, the smaller projects that we do that really are more community oriented, like the Seacoast Rep. We're helping them out there on a lobby redo. We've done a handicap ramp at St. John's. So we're making impacts big and small, and I really think it's a testament to the quality of the people that we have in our firm working with us, who are committed to making a difference.
That's great. How big is the firm? How many architects are?
We have 25 in total, of which, boy, I probably need to answer this for a proposal we're putting in. I think it's 14 are registered architects.
Okay.
We have 3 registered interior designers, more support staff, technical writers, that kind of thing. But all in all, 25.
That's great. And the firm is celebrating a milestone this year, 40 years.
40 years in business. It's an interesting anniversary to mark, since we can't have everybody in the office at once.
Right.
We did go back to work. We're in 2 shifts, the gold shift and the silver shift. We have not mandated that people come into the office. There's a number of folks with childcare issues and so forth. So we generally have about 8 people in the office at any given time. I suspect that with yesterday's heat, we probably had a pretty good crowd.
Right.
Although I wasn't there, I was sweating it out literally at home.
Well, that's great that you guys are persevering and doing great work. I know you guys have your hands in so many things in our community, and the work that Access Navigators does is just phenomenal. And anyone that hasn't checked that out, they should see that. The URL for that is what, Ann?
accessnavigators.com.
You made that easy.
Yeah. We actually have reviews up now. We're adding reviews as fast as I can. Reviews on the accessibility of the outdoor spaces downtown. Some are better than others, mostly because some have an easy path to indoor restrooms that are accessible.
Right, and the restrooms are always a challenge in downtown Portsmouth with our older buildings. That's always a challenge. So
it's a challenge.
Yeah.
There's some wins though.
Well, great. So really, that's it. It's just supposed to be a short little video here to highlight all the great work that you guys have been doing. So on behalf of the Chamber Collaborative, we thank you for all the support you've provided to us as an organization and the community as a whole. You guys are phenomenal assets, and we are very fortunate to have a firm as giving and generous as you all in our community. So we appreciate all that and look forward to celebrating in person sometime, your anniversary, and maybe even at the Bridgeview lot.
Yeah, I think it's our anniversary will end up being, we're going to have a 42nd anniversary blowout. It'll be 40 plus 2, and I can't wait for that party, because when we're all back to normal, there's going to be a lot of great ideas that have built up over the time. So, but thank you, Ben, very much for the support we get from the Chamber. It's been wonderful, and as I said earlier, we don't seek recognition, but we do appreciate it when it comes.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Ann and North.
Thank you, Ben.
Appreciate everything.